During our time as gamers, we come across games that we love. Games so memorable we can't help but return to them time and time again. With that in mind, I present you with my top 10 favorite games of all time. Let's get started. Its big and complex open world is immensely diverse and hides many secrets and dangers, something that I really like in my video games. But the reason it took this spot is of course its difficulty. When most games can be finished in about 2 or 3 days, it's awesome to have a game that takes so much more than that, and feels so very rewarding for it. No game ever gave me such a satisfying moment as when I defeated the double boss Ornstein and Smaug. Ah, the feelings. If you really look at it, it doesn't really do anything new or innovative. It's a shooter with some RPG elements shoved in for kicks. But the reason why I love it so much is because its combat system is so much fun. Guns feel good, and when a shooter nails its gunplay mechanics, see what I did there? It's a guaranteed success for me. Not only that, but the loot system feels immensely rewarding. And I found myself just playing an extra hour in hopes of getting another awesome gun to play with. So much fun. This game shouldn't have been so good. It was a reboot of a top-down strategy game running on an engine that was never made to be used for a shooter. And yet, it clicked with me. I loved to explore its open world, to enter the ruined city and duke it out with the super mutants. I loved the post-apocalyptic setting, and I can't remember how many times I have replayed it. The idea that the next game from Bethesda might be a sequel to this game, and that it might receive the same treatment as Skyrim, always makes me soil my pants, if you know what I mean. The latest and greatest entry on the Grand Theft Auto franchise features one of the biggest and most believable and alive open worlds I've ever seen. And given the amount of things one can do when you go online, especially with friends, makes this game one of the best of all time. The reason it didn't go any higher is because it really isn't all that memorable for me. The story was good, but it didn't blow me away. And while the heists were fun, I really wish they'd given the player more choice in how to complete them. Well, there's always the next one. This is the game that first introduced me to Final Fantasy and Square Enix. Or should I say Squaresoft? This game had it all. Great story, compelling characters, an amazing world with lots of lore, and of course the greatest turn-based combat system I have ever seen. It really didn't have any faults. If anything, I wished it had a less linear world, and more things to do and explore. But it still stands up there, with some of the most memorable games I have ever played. I actually only played this game recently, after getting it on PlayStation Plus, but I instantly loved it. There's something about mysterious games that don't really explain much about themselves that I really love. And this game is probably the king of doing just that. The boss fights were epic, and gameplay felt nice and tight. But it's the scale of things, the fact that you are so immersed on what's going on, that really makes it shine. Pity I didn't find it sooner. If you've been paying any attention, then it should come as no surprise that Skyrim is here. As the daddy of open world games, Skyrim is that game that I just keep coming back to. Its world is so large and so jam-packed with so many little things that even after playing it countless times before, I keep finding stuff that I'd never seen before. Add to that a great and complex combat system and a whole bunch of different quests, and you got a winner. Let's hope the next Fallout gets the same treatment. Fingers crossed.
We need to stand together.
Do I even need to explain why this game is up here? First game aside, they had a great and complex combat systems, a huge, diverse and complex open world, deep and evolving characters that you could even get intimate with, and a story that was among the greatest things I have ever experienced as a gamer. And yet the reason why it stands in third place is none of those. What really made this game such a masterpiece in my eyes was the fact that your actions actually mattered, and that they translated from game to game. The time I spent carefully deciding what characters would do what in the last part of the second game is a testament to how much I got involved in this series' epic tale. Truly an example to follow.
You're already dead.
This was one of my first games on the PS3, and what a game it was. The guns felt great, the plasmids were amazing, and combining the two resulted in some of the most satisfying kills I have ever made. The game could have received merits for its gameplay alone, but its story is where the game was truly in a different league entirely. Everything about it, the setting of Rapture, the mutants walking the streets, and all the colorful characters you met were among the most memorable I have ever experienced in a game. Not only that, but everything came together so perfectly I couldn't fault this game in any way. It's hard to explain why it's so great, so if you haven't played it yet, then go do it. You are missing out on the experience of a decade. So some of you might be wondering why this game is number 1, above BioShock for Christ's sake. And the reason is very simple. No game I have ever played brought together all the gameplay elements I like so well as in this game. I love the way you can reach your objective in so many ways. I love the way there are so many hidden secrets and paths you can discover. I love the fact that you can play the entire game without killing anyone, and I love the way everything just feels so very nice and polished. Not only that, but the story is very good, with many great characters with which you can talk, and silver-tongue your way into telling you their secrets. It's just my perfect game. Besides, since I pre-ordered it, I got some great items from Team Fortress 2, which is always nice. Anyway, do you agree with my list? Do you know any games that I might like? Whatever it may be, leave a like, share with your friends, and subscribe for future videos.